Hello and welcome back to the Achievement Planner, and today I'm coming to you with a fantastic game, No Man's Sky. It's one of my favorite games, and if you like survival games or space games or crafting games, you will like this game because it is really awesome, and because there are just endless things you can do. I didn't even go through a little tiny part of the game because trying to get the achievements, you have to do certain things, but you don't even have to go through all the story necessarily. So there's just so much to do with this game, and it's really made well. So let me go over this. And there are going to be a lot of categories, but they're really quick categories to explain. So this game has 27 achievements for 1,000 gamer score. I would give it an 8 out of 10 difficulty. If you don't include the permadeath and the survival, well, I guess the permadeath achievement, then I would say it's like 2 out of 10 difficulty. It's not hard at all, except for the permadeath part. Completion time 50 to 60 hours. It took me a little over 50. And playthrough 1, normal difficulty is fine. All the milestone achievements. So almost every single category is a milestone achievement. You'll see what I mean. And playthrough number 2 on permadeath. Permadeath playthrough to the center of the galaxy. And yeah, we're going to go over this. I just did 2 playthroughs though. Alright, so throughout this game, there are no story achievements really, but these are all kind of story achievements. It's weird. But you need to do certain things on different levels, like this amount and then more. Well, you'll see. But anyway, before we do that, there are 3 miscellaneous achievements. Category 1, 3 achievements for 48 gamer score. Yeah, 48? What? So this game is annoying with the number of gamer score. So if you don't want an uneven gamer score and you're not going to definitely 100% this game, maybe you should think twice about it, because these achievements are weird numbers. So anyway, number 1, Cradle, 16 gamer score. 16. Claim a base or buy a freighter. So all you have to do for this is claim a base. And when you start to build your bases, which is going to happen, the tutorial section of the game is like hours long. So once you do claiming a base part, which you'll get as you play, you will then get this achievement. All right, or buy a freighter. You could do that too. But yeah, I claimed the base and it was no problem. Number 2, Reunion, 16 gamer score. So there's this thing when you're playing the tutorial mode, and basically at the end of it, and by the way, it'll tell you where to go, to which planet you go to. I was very confused for hours. But if you just follow the directions, it tells you where to go for each mission. And then once you do that, you find the stranger's call, the stranger's coordinates, and that's if you keep doing the missions that it says to do. And you'll find the stranger's coordinates. Once you get there, you get access to this thing called the anomaly. And the anomaly is like a super secret space station that you can pull up on demand. Once you've been there, you can be like, anomaly there, boom, and it comes. It's really good. So once you go there, there is a giant warp, a giant portal, and you're going to be using portals in this game a lot. But there's this giant portal that could bring you to all the bases you've claimed, all the different space stations you've been to, or you can go online and visit other people's bases. So all you have to do for this, you could play with another friend and go to their base, of course, or you can go to a stranger's base, just someone online, and that is what I did. I went to someone's base, and when I got there, I think I may have turned on their computer or something. I forget exactly what I did, but yeah, once I got there, I went to the other player's base and I got that achievement. So once you go to the anomaly, you'll see the big portal, and I was like, I don't know where to look. You'll see. All right, now number 3, Navigators, is also something I did at the anomaly. There is a section where you can buy vehicles and you can buy exocrafts. You can buy all these things. I guess the vehicles are exocrafts. Anyway, so all you have to buy, if you want to do this as soon as possible, is the Roamer Geobay. And if you buy that vehicle and then you go to a planet and then you put it down on the planet, you will get that achievement. So now there are other ways, many other ways, that I don't even know that you can get this thing, you can get this achievement just by playing the game. But that's the quickest way you could do it. Alright, so now let's go to all these milestone achievements. Category number 2, Zoology achievements. And almost all of them are 3 achievements for 112 gamer score. What a ridiculous number. Anyway, so all of these are scanning scanning 1 whole planet, the animals on 1 whole planet. The second one is scanning 7 planets, and the third one is scanning 10. So 1, 7, and 10. And what you have to do for that, some planets you go to has 13 different animals or wildlife, basically. Some of them have, one of them had 1. Like, really? That was easy. And some of them have 0. Now, some people say you can go to the 0 and you could scan them and it'll count, but I could not do that. It did not work for me. So you had to go around and find them, and you just have to scan them. How do you scan them? You'll figure it out. It's not hard at all. But they're on land, they're in the sky, they're underwater, or they're underground. The ones on the land I found no problem. The ones in the sky I found no problem. You just keep looking around, you'll get it. A lot of them, in fact, are by where you spawn or where you land. But the underwater ones, I could not find all of them for some reason. No matter what I did, I could not find all of them. I guess I was just impatient. I don't know. And the underground ones were a little hard to find too. They wouldn't always spawn. So stand in one place if you really want to find them. But once you find all of them, you have to go into the menu and you have to then send them out. You have to give the information, and then you'll get nanites. By the way, nanites are very important. And then once you do that with 10 planets, you'll have all 3 of these. All right, so yeah, go around, keep trying to find planets that have maybe fewer than 5 or 5 or fewer, whatever. You'll see. But it's not really hard. You just have to kind of find some planets. Maybe ones that aren't too hard to live on either. All right. So the next category is warp achievements. 3 achievements for I don't have to keep saying that. It's the same. So you need to warp in your ship a certain number of times, and these 3 actually, the number of times you need to do it, you need to warp 5 times, 40 times, and 75 times. Now to do this, you have to keep playing through the story, the tutorial you'll see, and you'll figure out how to get a warp drive, a hyperdrive, and then once you get your hyperdrive, I know this is complicated, but it's all part of the story. You'll get it. It's not very hard once you understand, but I want to explain the little details. So hyperdrive. Then you have to make warp cells, and you're going to make warp cells by getting antimatter housing and antimatter, right? That's how you make that. And like I said, you will understand how to do it once you start playing this game. The system for holding all the items is kind of confusing and crafting, but once you get it, it's like, oh, that's easy. So yeah, but once you have enough warp cells, 75 warp cells basically is what you're going to need for the whole thing to get all 3 of those achievements. And you're going to be able to go in the map. You press down on the D-pad, and you can go to the galaxy map and warp. So you can warp anywhere. And probably as you're going to the center of your galaxy, you'll probably get that as well. All right, units accrued, category 4. And this one is also just, you have to get 150,000, 1 million, and 2 million units. Now, to do this, one of the best things you can do, and how I did it, it was some of the first achievements I got. I went down, oh, by the way, you have to have all this money at one time, not accumulative. Not cumulative, not accumulative. Yeah, cumulative. You have to have it all at the same time. Anyway, so underground in the first place you go. By the way, when you go underground, I didn't even explain the most important part of this game. In the beginning of the game, you need to survive as soon as possible. You need to find oxygen, carbon, and sodium, and one of them refills your oxygen. Obviously, one of them refills your shield on your suit and make sure you don't die from the world around you, and the other one recharges your mining beam, which you have. So you need all of that. And the reason why I say that is because one of the first places you might go before you have enough of that is underground in the caves, which they have. And in those caves are usually cobalt. And if you just keep mining cobalt for let's say a half hour, you may just have enough to bring to a space station eventually when you get there, or a trading post, and sell. And you may be able to get 2 million units right there just from that cobalt. That's how much it costs. That's how much you can get from cobalt. So go underground, get cobalt, as much as you can do. And then actually in the menu, it says how much it's going to sell for once you go see. I think I'm putting it on the screen. And then after that, yeah, you can get a whole bunch of things that'll sell, and you'll get enough units. I did this all at once. Just make sure you don't use them right away. Try to save all of that so you have it all together. All right, that's that. Category 5, words learned. And so this is the same type of thing. Oh, I know I keep saying that, but you have to learn 10 words, 50 words, and 150 words. And so to learn words around the planets, there are these things called knowledge stones. You go up to it, you press X. Well, it was X for me. And you learn a word, just a random word. Or one of the first missions has a word you learn. So that's 2 words right there. Now, when you go to every single space station, and you can keep going to random space stations if you want, you go up to a character and you learn some of their dialect. They tell you 1 word. And that's it for that person. You could work with them and practice, but that doesn't help you learn it. You just go to, usually about 8 to 10 aliens are in that space station. You could talk and learn sometimes 8 to 10 words every time you go to a new space station. So you'll get that as you go on. And you could also scan for those knowledge stones. All right, category 6, alien encounters. Oh, look at that. Just what I was saying. So to meet 10, 50, and 80 aliens. So when you go to the space stations, you just meet as many aliens as possible. Not all of them count towards this, but just talk to all of them. And you'll get this, no problem. You just have to meet 80 aliens to get all 3 of those achievements. Next is ships destroyed, category 7. So for this, you need to destroy 5 ships, 50 ships, and 80 ships. And you'll find ships, well, first of all, some of them just try to attack you. And then some of them, if you go outside of the space stations and you start shooting the space station, you'll get a whole bunch of ships. And you might die, but whatever. But it still counts if you blow up the ships. So that's okay if you want to die, whatever, I guess. But just try to blow up the ships as soon as possible. So what you can do is there are 2 weapons. There is like a machine gun type thing. I forget what they're called. And then there's like a rocket launcher. So just, and I think left trigger holds onto them. So if you start shooting at it and it flies behind you, hold left trigger, I think it was, and it will zoom to target right on them. You just keep shooting and you have to get rid of their shield. And now I suggest when the shield is gone, switch to your rocket launcher, shoot them, and the ship should blow up right away. All right? Hopefully that made sense. But you just have to blow up 80 ships. I feel like through your gaming, you will get that, no problem. The next one only has 2 achievements. Steps taken, category 8. For 96 gamer score, you need to just walk for 40,000 steps and 100,000 steps. That's it. You'll get that, no problem. Now, the next 2 categories are the hard ones. Category 9, Extreme Survival Achievements. 2 achievements for 96 gamer score. And Stranger in a Strange Land and The Sentinel, they're both surviving on an extreme planet for a certain amount of time. So the first one is 20 souls, and the second one is 32 souls. So now what is 32 souls? That is 8 hours, a little over 8 hours. I think 8 hours and 20 minutes of our time, of people time, humans. And you need to, all that time, literally, you cannot die in that time. So now you can play, save it, shut off the game, go back to it, you're fine. But if you die in that time, you have to restart that survival amount. So now what kind of extreme survival planets are there? There are ones that are super hot, super cold, super acidic. I couldn't say that word at first. And but the one I did, which is the one you should probably do, is the aggressive sentinels. So there are these things called sentinels, and they're around the planets. If you mine, you're not going to have them immediately, but as you play, you'll get them. They're these little drone things that if you start to mine, they'll get angry with you and start to kill you. Yeah. And so you want to try to avoid them. So what I did was I found a planet with aggressive sentinels. I went underground. I built a house, a little tiny house, easily. And I literally stayed in there for 8 hours and 20 minutes, however long it took. My controller kept shutting off. I could not figure out how to keep it on. I did the rubber band trick. It didn't work. I don't know. But what happens if you die 7 hours in? It'll still say you survived for 7 hours on your menu in the start menu. So you think, oh, cool. I survived 7. I only need 1 more. No, it starts back at nothing. And it won't change until you go past that 7 hours. So you must do it in one time without dying. Oh, also I believe you can't leave the planet. So you have to stay on the planet. You can get in your ship, which makes you safe, but you can't, I don't think the timer will go up. You have to actually be out on the planet. All right, so that's basically that. It was one of the most boring things I've ever done. I went out of the house, I did a whole bunch of stuff, and it was still going. And even though it shut off, so I guess it didn't. Whatever, but yeah. You just have to survive. Aggressive sentinels. That's the way to do it. Or you could try surviving for real, and good luck. All right, so anyway, so that's that category. Category 10, Center of the Galaxy achievements. 2 achievements for 88 gamer score. I did not do it on survival mode at all. I just did permadeath automatically. Not automatically. I did it first. So what you need to do is this. You need to start permadeath, and you need to survive the beginning. Now, I happen to have the most amazing start to any permadeath. I died a whole bunch of times, and then I spawned at a trading post area. So I went right to the trading post and started selling stuff. So that was a perfect start. I was really lucky. But basically, if you don't get to shelter or collect stuff immediately, you will die right away. You have permadeath, and if you have permadeath, you die right away. If you die, you lose your entire game. you start right back at the beginning in case anybody doesn't know what that permadeath is. If you're at the end and you die, you start back at the beginning. So yeah, you don't want to do that. That's why it was so scary. Survival mode, on the other hand, does have checkpoints, so you can practice on that. But honestly, if you can survive the beginning of the game, get enough oxygen to survive and enough, I forget, but really the three, I guess, oxygen, sodium, and carbon. And I had so much by the end, it wasn't hard at all because you could buy it at the space stations. But if you can get enough of that, survive the beginning, and make sure throughout the game you don't get killed by any ships or sentinels, you got this. It's no problem at all. It's not hard. It was just hard because it was scary. Because I'm like, I can't die. Yeah, other than that, as long as you survive that beginning. So now you may have to practice the beginning a whole bunch of times. That's okay. Get underground as soon as possible, basically. Now, the other thing is you have to get to the center of the galaxy. That's kind of confusing. How do you do that? Let me tell you the easiest way to do it. If you play through the entire story and just do everything you're supposed to do, you will get 16 glyphs, apparently. Now, those glyphs are used in a huge portal that can teleport you to basically closer to the center of the galaxy. And then the center of the galaxy is basically, I keep saying basically, is a stopping point. You can continue playing after that. But once you get there, you're done with the game for the most part, the story. So now, all you need for this is one glyph, and then you can do what I did. You need to find navigation data. When you find navigation data, which you can find in buried stuff, you can find it in space stations, these little cubes on the tables. Once you find that, you trade them to the specific trader, the cartographer trader, and they will give you do exchange for maps, and you'll get alien cartographic map data. All right, so now you have this alien cartographic map data. Then you go to planets and you scan with that data, you use it, and you scan for alien monoliths. All right, then you go to the monolith, you'll find it, and then once you get to the monolith, you have to answer the question properly. All right, now there are guides online where you could look and see what all the answers are, but you might be able to figure it out. You know what? If you want to, just go ahead and look up each one. Basically, you need to answer this. There it is again. Basically, I say it again. But you need to answer the question correctly, and then you have to click on the monolith a second time. This took me hours to figure out to click on it a second time. So do it a second time. It will then give you an item that you can give it back, and then it will show you where a portal is. 2 times I've done it, it's worked. It showed you a portal right away. You go to the portal. I made a base there so I can go back and teleport there, no problem. Then, now I need glyphs. So, when you go to space station, there are some aliens that have these weird looking heads. I don't know, it's weird. It's on the video. And if you talk to them and you do the middle option, where they ask where they're from, I think that's what it is, where they're from, then they will they will put something on your map, and it shows you where a grave is. And then you have to go follow the thing. It's not hard. It only takes a couple minutes. Go down to a planet, follow the directions to this grave, and you will get a glyph. Now, you can find 16 of these dudes, or you could find one of them, go back to your portal, put that glyph into your portal, and then go into it, and then you'll get about 5,000 whatever meters or kilometers or whatever the heck number it is from the center of the galaxy. You start like 700,000 away, but you'll get about 5,000 away. So now you still can't get there. Your hyperdrive, you need to build a better hyperdrive so that you can get there faster. I know this doesn't make a lot of sense, but as you're building things, you'll see. And you know what, I might put up a guide for this actually to help you understand it a little better, the one I used. But once you do that, you get some hyperdrive stuff to make it better. You can then start jumping as like closer and closer. You can actually set the coordinate on the map to Galactic core and just keep warping and warping like we did, like I said before, warping. I think I warped like 12 to 15 times at the end there to get to this Galactic core. And the Galactic core is only about 2,000 or so away. It's not at 0. And once you get there to the Galactic core, you do it, and then that's it. And then you as long as you're on permadeath, you haven't died, you get both the survival one and the permadeath one. All right, so I'll put up a guide for that. I'm also going to put up a guide for a permadeath run that is awesome that I watched along with. Well, I didn't watch along with. I took notes because, you know, I'm a nerd. That's what I do. But I use this to really figure out exactly what to do. But yeah, that's it. This game is fantastic. I love it. And that was only the start of the game. I barely did anything. So I really hope you enjoy this game. You can play with other friends. I found it hard to play with friends because I couldn't find them. But yeah, you might like to build and do stuff like that. Otherwise, I'll see you next time on the Achievement Planner.